Well, let's have a quick look now, summary of how the markets in East Africa are doing. Well, it's good morning now to Beatrice in Nairobi. Morning, Beatrice. Welcome to the show. And going into Workers' Day, it'd be interesting to see how the market reacts today. And I'm not sure what perceptions you've got lined up at that end.
We are going to be looking at Safaricom, which is one of the counters that has elicited a lot of excitement. Yesterday, it touched a new 12-month high. And to discuss some of those things, we have the market watcher with us, Geoffrey Maina. So he will be discussing with us to look at some of the things that are happening in the market today.
Yeah, thank you, Beatrice. As she has mentioned, Safaricom yesterday touched a new high of 6 shillings and 70 cents. This can be attributed to the expected full-year release sometime next month. And if we can remember, the half-year results performance for Safaricom, it was impressive. So investors are optimistic that given the full-year release for Safaricom, this will reflect in the earnings release that we are currently expecting for Safaricom.
And Safaricom has also been investing a lot in their infrastructure, which is another thing that is likely to also help them in terms of the organic growth.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen Safaricom, they've been really aggressive to try and protect their investment in the data market. They've been facing stiff competition from the voice side, but the company was angling more growth in terms of data investment. So they've been trying to invest in fiber optic, laying new fiber optic connectivity within Nairobi, and also to connect the major towns, just to try and increase the internet, the data connectivity within the country.
And also we saw Access Kenya also hitting a new high yesterday of 12 months to close at about, it rose about 7.4 shillings.
Yeah.
Percent, sorry.
Yeah.
And now we are likely to also, is that performance that we're likely to see going ahead?
Yesterday, Access Kenya was the most gainer. It's stock appreciation by around 7% to end the day at 10.1 shillings. This can be attributed to Access Kenya full-year results last year. They had a steady performance last year. Even their corporate client base, it increased. So the company has been really aggressive on organic growth as a whole. And going forward, there are new opportunities coming up with the devolution of government to county areas. So the company is trying also to leverage on that, just to have new investment in the in the major towns in Kenya to increase their data connectivity, given that now we are moving to a more devolved system of government.
We've been speaking a lot about banks because they're just about to release their first quarter results for this year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of excitement that when it comes to the top tier banks, we're talking about Equity Bank, which
Yeah.
is one of the biggest in the country in terms of depositors,
Yeah.
and Kenya Commercial Bank, which is another big one in terms of assets.
Yeah.
Where do you see we are likely to have some very good performance that will actually excite the investors?
Because of right now banks are in the process of doing their first quarter earnings release for this year. We saw Housing Finance release their first quarter results, and they had a stellar performance. Their profit before tax increased to 279 million compared to 133 the previous quarter. Even towards last year, we saw some speculative trade in that stock. So going forward, for equity, let's say just the banking sector as a whole, we are going to see some speculative trades in some of the counters that will have good first quarter results once we have the numbers out from maybe the large cap counters, which are KCB and Equity. Yesterday, Equity slightly dipped to end the day at around 31 shillings. But given that if their first quarter results will be impressive, we'll see some speculative trading in that counter, given that it's one of the liquid counters in the market.
We have Jubilee Insurance announcing their full year results later today.
Yeah.
How do you expect them to perform, and how do you see investors taking up the news?
For Jubilee, what's going to angle their investor appetite, it's how the whole results will be. If the company is going to have a positive results, we are going to see some excitement from the investor side. We've seen the share price, it has stagnated for a while at the 260 mark, but if their earnings release is going to be positive, we are going to see some investor activity in Jubilee counter.